going to spend the next 30 minutes, as we say, how mobile is driving inspiring outcomes for Indian society. And as a research and development head, for me, I love problems more than solutions. Because, when you have problems, you have opportunities. And when you have opportunities, you can innovate, right? So what I want to do in the next 30 minutes, I want to talk about, from a mobility perspective, from a digital mobile perspective, what are the opportunities this country provides, right? So this should enthuse all of us to think and create new and interesting solution for India, and solutions which can be taken from India, even globally outside India, right? Um, Let me first spend some time to understand what are the challenges as well as the opportunity the India marketplace is providing us. We all know the penetration of fixed broadband is not that good in India for multiple reasons. To lay a kilometer of fixed broadband in a city like Delhi, you may have to spend 7.8 lakhs per kilometer. In Mumbai, 1 crore per kilometer. And just it doesn't become economically feasible unless it's a cluster you are trying to enable with fixed broadband. And thankfully, what has happened is that gap has been fulfilled or filled by the mobile broadband services, right? So in India, the mobile broadband services is a great opportunity, and we know just in terms of the number of subscribers, at least half the nation, they seem to have a mobile connectivity. That's what we are told, and that's one of the biggest penetration, right? Having said that, however, the point is that I guess 80% of that, those are feature phones, okay, not smartphones, okay? But at the same time, if you look at the fact that over the last 5 years, the cost of smartphones have, on an average, have come down to almost 50%. The smartphones are becoming cheaper, okay? So what this really means is there's a huge market now for smartphones to come to be more available in India, right? From feature phones, people will start moving to the smartphone. So that's a whole opportunity, and a lot of studies are showing that another 330 million mobile subscribers will be added to the already 500 million kind of mobile subscribers we have by 2020. So in general, what you're really seeing is the mobile broadband space or the mobility space. There's going to be a lot of action. There's going to be a lot of smartphones coming in, better connectivity coming in, more subscribers coming in. And you don't have an option, but a nation like India, which is so populous, where every other form of connectivity is less than optimal, something like mobility or mobile devices is opening up a great opportunity to reach out to every nooks and corner of the country, to bring the population together, to be more inclusive in your development. And studies, for example, like from Capgemini, they're showing that on one hand, your mobile infrastructure is improving, penetrations are improving, but what do you do with that? The innovation is also going up. So the Capgemini study, for example, shows that India actually moved up the global innovation ranking in 2016. So that's very interesting. In fact, they also say that this is on the backdrop of a lot of incubation hubs and innovation centers opening up in the country, right? We also know that India is the third largest startup ecosystem or the base in the whole world. And there's a lot of innovations happening with mobile, in this startup ecosystem. And if I look at just what happened post demonetization with Paytm, within few days of demonetization, Paytm downloads, app download went up 300%. And the amount of money in the wallet, or the amount of money people put inside Paytm, went up 1,000%, right? So that's the way it's going up. 7% of the Indian economy, mobile industry is helping contribute to the GDP, right? And that is again on the rise. So that's the potential for mobile in India. Okay, now all good news there, but then what are the opportunities? If you look at the availability for the of 2G, 3G, 4G, only 15% of the potential of the population have the potential to access 4G. Not that 15% is using 4G, but if they want, only the 15% of the population can use 4G, right? Bulk of the population have only access to 2G, okay? So that's an opportunity. In fact, there's a lot of proactive effort happening on the part of the government of India for making sure that India really adopts 5G whenever it gets rolled out. Maybe by 2020 or whatever, India is ready for it, right? So a lot of proactive thinking happening. But in general, if you see, and 2016 probably was the year of 4G. If you see Jio and many other new players coming in the market. If you look at the cost of setting up mobile service units, in areas which are rural areas or far-flung areas, it at least 2 to 3 times than setting it up in urban locations like a Bangalore or a Mumbai, right, or a Delhi. So that it's a bit expensive setting up mobility in far-flung areas, and then the whole digital divide in India. Look at the per capita income in rural versus urban, and the fact that when you look at the affordability of data, one of the study I think shows that if you have to consume 1 gig of data per month, you have to, on an average, you're spending 2.6% of your annual income in India. Whereas in a developed nation, you're spending 0.2 to 0.4% of your annual income. So it's much more affordable abroad or in developed nation for people to use data. Another study, for example, shows that if we were able to cut down the cost of data by 75%, for example, then you will have at least another 345 million subscribers who will be starting using data, and the average consumption of data may go up to around 4.5 gig per SIM, per month, for example, or something like that. So in general, the study is trying to point out that cost is a factor. The moment you bring down the cost, you will see a lot of people using data in the country, which is right now, actually we say in India the cost of data is very low, but if you compare it with their income, it's not true. It's actually a huge part of their income. So what is the government doing about it, right? And between IT, ITES, and electronic manufacturing, if you add up everything, studies are showing that this is a $1 trillion opportunity in the future, right? There's a lot of opportunity there, and we know this government of India's Digital India program is a very flagship program of Modi government. Governance itself, trying to make sure both public services and private services reach to the nook and corner of the country. There's a lot of mobile applications are being built. You have probably encountered Swachhata app, which is trying to give kind of a cleanliness ranking to cities, encouraging municipalities to make their cities much more livable and lovable and kind of stuff. You have the Startup India app, which makes you aware of what all goodies is the government giving to you, and then obviously the Narendra Modi app, when he was running this survey after demonetization, this was an app that was trending in the India App Store as well as in Google Play Store and stuff like that. So these are all new, we never seen government doing all this nice apps. So you can see in Digital India initiative itself, a lot of focus. And later in the day, you will hear a lot of stuff here around something which is the India Stack. Pretty unique set of innovation. Aadhaar authentication, I don't think anywhere else in the world you will see a story like that. Almost 1 billion unique identity being given, and the coverage just increasing every day. I think a new player probably is a Bhim app that has come up. We could see the value of UPI, and a lot of innovations are happening on top of all this India Stack. And for example, the way Paytm is doing KYC, or a lot of mobile solutions like Urban Clap, Baba Job, and the way they are helping bring the unorganized sector in some kind of, they're aggregating those services, they're setting up new price points, and stuff like that, right? So a lot of innovation happening on top of it. So we discussed there's a huge opportunity for the mobile infrastructure itself, the growth of it. There is a lot of innovation happening on top of it by startups, and the government is doing its bit in terms of all the unique services they are offering. Now, India is being considered as the fastest growing economy in the world. Apparently, if we continue our journey of 7% at least GDP, by 2015 we are going to overtake China, right? And if 7% of the GDP is coming from mobile related services, just imagine the opportunity, right? But GDP is just one way of looking at the development of a country. And if you really want a country to develop, it has to be a sustainable development. And the best lens to look at it is the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, right? So what I really want to do is bring in front of you, what are the opportunities you have here? India, for one, we are really lagging behind in attainment of these goals, because we have a big problem. We are a big nation, populous nation, poor nation. For us to attain these goals is a much bigger challenge, right? We have a legacy. Now, does mobility have a role to play when we talk about eliminating poverty, zero hunger, good health, quality education, gender equality? From my lab perspective, we feel yes, and we use this as a guiding post for us to see what can we do with mobility to transform the game here, right? Let's try to understand where we are. And for me, these are problems, but these are opportunities. As innovators, as startups, you have to look at these opportunities, right? Look at health. Less than 20% of Indians have health coverage, okay? 40 to 60% of Indians, they are turned away by hospitals because they can't go and pay the initial sum during admission, okay? So, and if you look at our ranking, 144 out of 183 in health. What can we do here, right, is the question. Look at education, 135th out of 187. That's where we are. Look at financial inclusion. I think at least 40% was outside the remit of formal banking. I don't know what the number looks like after demonetization, but that's the way it is. And poverty, 30% of the world's poor, they are in this country, right? 40% of our children below the age of 5 years have stunted growth. So these should be our motivators. What can we do with mobile to change the game? And there are people who are doing it. There are, for example, the Asha kind of, where they are trying to use mobile-based solutions to ensure drug-resistant tuberculosis. People are not missing the dose. If they're missing the dose, the health worker gets an SMS. He has to go, and it's an e-compliance platform. He has to go give the dose to the patient, get his fingerprint to prove that he has taken the dose, right? So we know about Practo, we know about various such innovations happening on the healthcare space. In education, I know this CBSE board has created a mobile app to give out all the e-learning materials, but probably in 2015 itself, there were 500 startups in EduTech. So that's a big opportunity. If you look at Coursera's of the world, 12% of students in Coursera are from India. Next only to United States, comparable with China, right? Quality education, because we may have 35,000 universities or whatever, but the education is not something of a very tall order that globally is acceptable. So through mobility, you're suddenly getting access to world-class education, right? That's one. Paytm, I don't have to talk about it. We all know the kind of impact it had post-demonetization. And poverty, there are a lot of small apps coming up like Mandi, which gives you the government's crop procurement rates, or connecting apps that connect the local buyers with the local sellers, and so on and so forth. All these are, for example, opportunities in front of us to use mobile solutions. Okay, from the lab that I run, we have looked at all these opportunities and we said, what can we do from Accenture? So we do, apart from our usual work with the business, we do a lot of work on the social side, which are largely pro bono. Now this is a work we have done which won the Vodafone Mobile for Good. If time permits, I'll run a small video to show what this does. But we asked ourselves, how do we bring gender equality? How do we protect the girl child in vulnerable sections of our country? How do we prevent their school dropouts? How do we prevent early marriages? How do we prevent the final stage, that is human trafficking, right? And this was a big story when 2 years back, the year we launched it, this is almost a 3-year-old solution now. We saved 200 girl child in year first alone. And we won the Vodafone Mobile for Good award for this solution. So, the idea here is to just let you know that there are so many areas you can start using mobile solutions in India. These are some of the other areas we are using. For example, Accenture Vision Care. You know, how do you take the good first primary care when it comes to blindness or vision impairment? Hospitals can use those solutions to go to the remote villages, and many of the patients don't have to come to the hospital all the way. It can be provided there itself. Remote patient monitoring, connected crop solution. We know the problem with the farmers in the country. I was reading the newspaper yesterday, we said 42% rise in farmer suicide in Karnataka alone. And this, you know, the small holding farmers, they don't have the right information. Accenture Connected Crop is part of Karnataka One portal. This is something we built out of the lab. There are a number of this. The BNHS one is something I launched just last week. And this is India's first mobile-based platform. Behind the scene, it uses convolutional neural network. It can identify any Indian birds of the 1300 species. You upload the bird, it will tell you which bird it is. The whole idea is to create environment awareness, let people get connected with the environment so that they start protecting the environment. So there are a number of things you can do. And I'm sure as Mobile India, we all are part of this great platform that can transform this nation. So I'm sure during the whole day you will see a lot of interesting stories and go inspired as to what you can do. Let me see whether I can play the video if possible. Can you just please help me with the video?
GPA, short for GirlPA, an innovative digital solution jointly developed by Accenture with the Child in Need Institute, CINI, focuses on enabling underprivileged girls make a healthy transition from childhood to a productive adulthood by addressing key issues such as school dropout, early marriage, and trafficking. GPAR empowers the community facilitators to register beneficiary on the go through a mobile device and electronically capture beneficiary data on key parameters such as education, protection, health and nutrition status. The solution then ensures quick transmission of data to centralized servers using cloud-based technology, and the analytics-based functions process the data to provide insights on potential vulnerabilities of adolescent girls in real time. This enables CINI to proactively intervene immediately, facilitate access to the most relevant services from government flagship programs to mitigate the vulnerabilities and ensure a better future for the underprivileged children. GPAR currently works with over 6,000 families in 20 villages of Murshidabad and South 24 Parganas, 2 resource-poor districts of West Bengal, India, and has succeeded in readmitting schoolgirls into formal education, addressing cases of missing children and preventing child marriages. GPAR has received the Vodafone Foundation Mobile for Good 2015 award in India for women empowerment.
So I guess this is just a teaser on the kind of things you can do beyond the usual we see around us, beyond the usual e-commerce apps and stuff like that. So there's a huge opportunity ahead of us, and I encourage all of you to take that opportunity and make India one of the best nations with mobility, mobile solutions. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
We have 5 minutes for questions.
Okay, never. Oh yeah, there you go.
So, thinking about the sustainable development goals, and so how does a commercial entity think about these goals and make an impact and justify to the board and stuff? How do you think about it?
Yeah. So the sustainable development goal, look at it as an opportunity. It's not social work. Look at it as an opportunity. I gave some examples of apps, right? Like financial inclusion is a sustainable development goal. Is Paytm not for profit or for profit? It's a for profit. You know, so many of these, the Coursera app or Baiju app is a for profit. There's nothing bad about profit. You know, it's all about the fact that I'm using these sustainable development goals as your guiding post, saying these are the opportunities. Just look at the whole opportunity in front of you. You know, in India, nobody can give you more opportunities than India can. We are such a billion people, right? And we have a lot of work to be done. So to your point, you know, look at these as areas which are asking for solution, mobile-based solution. It can be pro bono, it can be social work, not for profit, it can be for profit. That doesn't matter, right? And that's what I see increasingly when I work with startups. There are several startups who are using these as opportunities to create services, new services with mobility. Okay, you know, you can reach out to me anytime. Drop me a note if you want further conversation. I'm really thankful to Sridhar for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you so
Sanjay, for providing a good overview for the day. So, and I now request Dr. Srikanth, co-chair of Mobile India, to give the event memento to Sanjay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Sanjay.